Insane revelation, millionaire follows nanny home at 3 a.m. What she saw changes everything. The clock struck 3, and darkness clung to the streets like a thick fog, whispering secrets only the brave dared to investigate. In a quiet suburb where nothing ever happened, a sinister truth lurked just beneath the surface. Meet Chloe, a young nanny with dreams bigger than her struggling paycheck. Her nights were filled with the laughter of children and the warmth of family, but tonight was different. Tonight, unexplained shadows danced through her mind, twisting everything she thought she knew. As she left the mansion's towering gates, Chloe felt the unmistakable prickle of eyes on her. They glinted in the darkness, cold and calculating. She turned, heart pounding, to find the silhouette of Anthony Caldwell, the reclusive millionaire she worked for, standing silently by his sleek black car. What was he doing here at this hour? Was he following her? It left a heavy knot in her stomach, churning an ease into fear. No one just showed up in the dead of night without a purpose. The streetlights flickered overhead, illuminating the asphalt beneath her feet. It felt like a scene twisted out of a horror movie. Chloe quickened her pace, every step sending waves of anxiety crashing against her resolve. She could almost hear the echo of her own hurried heartbeat, mixing with the haunting silence surrounding her. Shadows loomed, stretching far too long, mocking her every move. Each rustle of a nearby bush sent her heart racing and her mind spiraling. Suddenly, a sharp crack sliced through the air, a branch snapping, or just her imagination. She turned abruptly, searching for the source of the sound. Nothing was there, yet every hair on her body stood on end. What was it about this night that felt so utterly unhinged? She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being hunted, the prime target in a game she didn't even know she played. Just as she reached her street, she glanced over her shoulder once more to see Anthony's car following her, more like a predator trailing its prey than an innocent coincidence. With his wealth, he had access to anything. But what was his agenda? The questions burned in her mind like a wildfire raging out of control. She needed to get home, to the safety of her apartment, yet the chase hung heavy in the air like a storm cloud ready to unleash its fury. Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Chloe finally reached her building, fumbling with her keys, hand shaking as she darted glances back at the road. Was he still watching? She felt the weight of his gaze pressing down on her, a palpable dread creeping up her spine. The doorknob felt slick and cold in her hand, but just as she pushed it open, she caught a glimpse of movement from the corner of her eye. The figure by the car stepped out, and with that, her breath hitched. What did he want? Was her life about to unravel in ways she could never have predicted? The night was far from over, and she stood on the brink of a revelation that could change everything. Chloe finally managed to push the door open, her legs trembling beneath her and her heart racing like it might leap out of her chest. She rushed inside, slamming the door behind her, the sound echoing in the empty hallway. The fear coursed through her veins, wrapping itself around her like an unwanted cloak. Every creak of the floorboards made her jump, amplifying the sense of dread that loomed over her like a black cloud. Heart still pounding, she leaned against the door, eyes closed tightly. She just needed a moment to breathe, to gather herself. But the image of Anthony in the darkness swirled in her mind, a ghost that refused to be laid to rest. What was a man like him doing, lurking outside her life at this hour? She had always thought of him as a distant figure, a wealthy man behind lavish gates, but now he seemed all too real, too close. As she moved through the dimly lit apartment, her movements were quick and frantic, like a trapped animal seeking any semblance of safety. Chloe flicked on the lamp, watching as the yellow light banished some of the shadows, but not all. The air felt heavy, thick with unseen threats waiting in the darkness. She glanced out the window, heart seizing as she prepared to confront the reality of being watched. There he was. Like a hawk on a perch, Anthony's silhouette loomed just beyond the streetlight's reach, his expression unreadable. The handsome features she saw every day at work were now twisted in an unsettling mix of determination and purpose. What did he want from her? Why was he here? Chloe's mind frantically fired off 100 different questions, none of which had easy answers. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the table, shattering the tense silence. Startled, she snatched it up, her hand slick with sweat. A notification flashed across the screen, an unknown message. Her heart raced. Was he contacting her? She hesitated, then forced herself to take a deep breath. She opened the message, and the words felt like ice in her stomach. I know what you saw, Chloe. You must listen to me. The world around her blurred. Confusion mixed with urgency. Who sent this? What did they know? The thought of being tangled in something far beyond her understanding clawed at her mind, making her breath hitch again. Had she unknowingly seen something, heard something she was never meant to? Without thinking, she backed away from the window, her instincts screaming that she needed to get out. A sudden, hollow knock echoed through her apartment, sending her heart into a tailspin. It was too loud, too determined. Not a random knock, this was deliberate. Trembling, she stepped cautiously toward the door, her mind racing with possibilities. Was it Anthony? Did he know she saw him? The thought was paralyzing. She listened, her ears straining against the ominous quiet, waiting for another sound, any sound. Then, she heard it, the low murmur of a voice, barely discernible through the door. Chloe, please. Open up. The voice was familiar. Was it? It was layered with concern, but what was she supposed to believe? Panic seized her throat. She glanced at the phone, frozen by uncertainty. Did she engage? Did she open the door to whatever awaited her outside? The air grew thick with tension as she hovered between safety and the unknown. Every second felt excruciating, like a ticking time bomb. Then the voice called out again, this time more insistent, you don't know the whole story. You need to trust me. Chloe stood there, caught in the web of fear and confusion, unsure of who to trust. The door felt like both a barrier and a lifeline. It was a choice that could change everything yet again. Would she step into the darkness, or retreat into safety? In that agonizing moment, she made a decision, but it may have been the worst choice of her life. What did she just unleash? Chloe's breath hitched in her throat as she wrestled with the decision that clawed at her mind. The voice on the other side was someone she thought she could trust, but doubt seeped in, dark and thick. What if this was a trap? Another knock rang out, sharper, more frantic. Chloe, please. I don't have much time. Just like that, the dam of her resolve began to crack. Anthony stood outside, a man woven into the fabric of her life, yet now, he brought uncertainty and fear. The lights flickered ominously, sending shadows dancing across the walls, as if the very apartment was alive with dread. As she reached for the doorknob, an icy chill swept over her, paralyzing her hand. What if she opened that door and turned her world upside down? Chloe! His voice broke through again, more desperate. I swear I'll explain everything. Just let me in. The plea, the urgency caught her. It struck a chord deep inside her. With a steeling of her nerves, she unlatched the door, the metallic click echoing in her ears. She swung it open, ready to confront the storm he brought with him. The sight of Anthony was jarring, his hair was tousled, eyes wide, brimming with a mixture of fear and determination. He looked like a man who had been running. Chloe, you don't understand. They're coming for you, he said, voice low, almost trembling. What are you talking about? She managed, feeling the walls of her sanctuary drawing unbearably close. They know you saw me tonight. What they're planning, it's bigger than either of us. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him, sealing the dark outside. Chloe's heart raced, anxiety clawing at her throat. What do you mean? Who's coming? The weight of his eyes felt like lead. You're in danger. And so am I. I need you to trust me. You must hide. His words dropped like stones in a still pond, sending waves of panic radiating throughout her. Hide? From whom? She felt the whispers of her instincts, warning her of their impending doom. Before he could answer, the sound of a car screeching to a halt outside made them both jump. Chloe's pulse quickened. She hurried to the window, peeking through the sheer drapes. Outside, a dark SUV idled ominously, its headlights glaring into the street like unblinking eyes. The engine purred with a low menace, and she felt a chill ripple up her spine. "Whoever is in there, they're looking for you," Anthony hissed, moving closer, his voice tense. Chloe swung back to face him. "How do you know?" He hesitated, his face pale as if the very truth was a weight he didn't want to bear. "Because I've dealt with them before. They won't stop until they have what they want." "Which is what?" she demanded, frustration boiling over. He reached for her, gripping her shoulders with a fierce intensity. "Your silence, Chloe. You saw what you shouldn't have, and now they want to silence you permanently." The fear in his gaze sent a jolt through her, it was raw and real. This was no longer just a fleeting encounter. This was life and death. With her heart pounding like a war drum, she pulled back. "What did I see?" Anthony opened his mouth to answer, but before the words could escape, a loud bang rumbled behind them. The wall trembled, and a shudder of terror shot through her. "They're here. We have to go. Now." Adrenaline pumped through her. As she stepped back, trying to formulate a plan, a jolting realization hit her. Every second wasted was another second closer to whatever lurked in the shadows. But what if she opened that door again? Did she truly trust him? Chloe made her choice. With a burst of clarity, she grabbed her phone, ready to alert the authorities. But before she could dial, Anthony pressed a finger to his lips, eyes darting toward the door. "Shush! You need to be quiet. Trust me, this is only the beginning." And just like that, a whole new layer of uncertainty unfolded around her, as terrifying shadows loomed closer. What had she really unleashed? Chloe's heart raced as the heavy thumping at the door intensified. Each impact reverberated through her, tightening her chest like a vice. She could feel the heat of Anthony's grip on her shoulders, and it sent a jolt of awareness coursing through her. This was no ordinary intruder, these were predators. Anthony's eyes darted to the door, his breath coming in quickened gasps. "We don't have time to explain. They can track us, and if they find us here," he didn't finish the thought, yet the implication hung in the air like a dark cloud. Chloe stepped back from him, confusion and fear swirling in her gut. "Track us? Who the hell are they? And why do you know so much?" She felt real anger bubble up within her, battling the fear. She had invited him in, yet here he was, dragging her into a nightmare. Anthony's expression hardened. "Because I was involved, okay? I didn't have a choice. I saw things I should have reported, things they don't want anyone to know. I thought I could keep you safe." A crash sliced through the tension like a knife, splintering the air. Chloe jumped. The door vibrated on its hinges. "We need to move," she urged, urgency leaping in her chest. She grabbed her phone again, desperately scanning for the beacon of hope that would be a lifeline to safety, but Anthony grabbed it from her hand before she could hit dial. "You can't call them." Anxiety laced his voice. "If they know what?" She interjected, panic rising. "That I'm in danger? It's already too late, Anthony. This is insane." Another crash echoed. It came from the window this time. A fracture of glass flickered past her, the room momentarily illuminated by the streetlights outside. The SUV was moving. "They're trying to get in," Anthony hissed. "We have to get out of here. There's a back exit, wait." Chloe's voice cut through the chaos. "What if this is all a setup? I can't just abandon everything and run with you. You've brought chaos into my life. I can't trust you." His face fell, desperation etched in every line. "You think I wanted this?" Running was never the plan. He took a breath, grounding himself. "Just listen. If you don't trust me, trust your gut. You feel the danger. It's real. If you don't leave with me, they will find you. You've already seen too much. The tension crackled like electricity in the air, the shadows of the room seemingly closing in around them. Chloe felt her pulse quickening, she couldn't deny the truth in his words. With every moment, the danger was closing in. A deafening crack jolted her from her thoughts, the door splintering under the relentless force. "Run!" Anthony shouted, his voice breaking through her hesitation like thunder. She dove for the back door, feeling the urgency pulsate through her limbs. "This way!" Anthony urged, leading her out of her apartment and into the unknown. The cool night air hit her like a slap, invigorating yet terrifying. They sprinted down the alley, hearts pounding like wild drums, the shadows behind them closing in, unseen but surely present. "Where are we going?" she panted, grasping his arm. "There is a safe house. We can hide there until we figure this out. Just keep moving." But as they rounded a corner, a figure emerged from the darkness, tall, imposing, with an unsettling familiarity. Chloe's breath caught in her throat. No, it can't be. The figure stepped forward, face obscured by shadows. "I'm glad to see you both made it." Chloe's heart plummeted. What had she walked into? And who was this new threat? The night was thick with secrets, and as the figure stepped forward, a chilling realization washed over Chloe. This was only the beginning. Chloe's mind raced in a whirlwind of confusion and dread. Every instinct screamed for her to flee, yet there he stood, imposing, familiar, and twisted, with a smile that sent chills racing down her spine. "Carter," she whispered, the name slipping past her lips involuntarily. His face, lit by the ambient glow from the streetlights, became clearer, sharp features set in a mask of mock concern. He was a picture of elegance in his designer clothes, yet something primal twisted in her gut at the sight. "Looks like you two are having a bit of a rough night, huh?" Carter drawled, stepping closer, his eyes flicking between her and Anthony, assessing the threat they posed. Each step felt deliberate, elongated, as if he thrived on the tension hanging thick in the air. "What do you want?" Anthony's voice was a low growl, protective and fierce. Chloe felt the tension electrifying his body, a warning sign measured, part anger, part fear. Carter leaned against the wall, the corners of his mouth curving upward in a way that made her skin crawl. "Let us just say I'm here to help. We wouldn't want you getting hurt now, would we?" His words dripped with insincerity, taunting them like a game they didn't know they were part of. "Help?" Chloe spat, taking a half-step backward. "After everything? You can't be serious." He feigned surprise. "Oh, come now, Chloe. Surely you don't think this is all chance? I'm not just some random guy from your past. I've been keeping tabs on you, on both of you." The words hit her like a brick, knocking the wind out of her. "What do you mean, keeping tabs?" The dread coiled tighter, Carter's smile widened, revealing teeth that looked too white against the night. "Your little journey just got interesting. This is about much more than you think. You're standing on the edge of something big. Something life-changing," he taunted, swelling with malicious delight. Without warning, a distant shout ripped through the night, followed by the sound of sirens, a reminder that time was slipping away. Chloe's heart thundered in her chest. They had to act fast, or they'd be cornered. "Don't listen to him, Chloe." Anthony snapped, his eyes full of furious protectiveness. "He's playing mind games. We need to go." Carter pushed off the wall and stepped forward, blocking their path. "Oh, I wouldn't be so hasty, Anthony. You might want to hear what I have to say. It concerns her, and you," he pointed at Chloe, "are in over your head." Chloe shifted her weight, caught between the two men. "What do you know?" she asked, forcing the words through her tight throat. "More than you'd believe," he replied smoothly. "Just ask yourself, why is Anthony really here? Why did he show up so soon after I made my move?" It landed like a stone thrown into still water. The implications rippled through her. "Stop it!" she shouted, desperation creeping in. "We don't have time for this." "Time is exactly what I'm offering," Carter replied, amusement dancing in his eyes. "But if you want an escape, you'll have to play the game. Before she could protest, Anthony surged forward, grabbing Chloe's arm and pulling her behind him. No more games, he growled, glancing back at her. We can't let him control the situation. And just like that, the street seemed to close in around them, becoming an echo chamber for the tension building. With sirens wailing closer, she felt their small moment of hope slipping away like sand through her fingers. Suddenly, from the shadows, another two figures emerged, blocking their only path. Chloe's breath hitched. The night was morphing, spiraling into something far more chaotic than she'd anticipated. Looks like we're not the only ones interested in you, Chloe, Carter smirked, his glance flicking toward the newcomers with that same unsettling amusement. Chloe's mind raced. What had she gotten herself into? Who could she trust? The alleyway felt like a funnel, drawing them all closer together, uncertainties looming, darkness thickening with every beat of her accelerated heart. As fear gripped her tighter, a singular thought echoed through her mind: would they survive the night? Or was this the moment everything changed forever? Chloe's pulse thundered in her ears as the shadows shifted, the two figures stepping into the harsh streetlight like ghosts rising from the depths of her worst nightmares. The light revealed their faces, men she didn't recognize, but the menace oozed from them. They exuded confidence, a dangerous aura that instantly set her on edge. Carter's smirk only widened as he stepped back, letting the new arrivals take center stage. I think you'll find they're just as curious about you as I am, he stated, his voice smooth but laced with mockery. What do you want? Anthony barked, his arm still protectively shielding Chloe. She could feel him tense, a coiled spring ready to snap. The alley felt like a stage, and they were all unwilling actors in a twisted play. Relax, pretty boy, one of the new men, tall and rugged, spoke with a drawl, his eyes scanning Chloe like she was a prize to be won. We're not here to hurt you yet. The other man, shorter but with an intensity that made her shiver, stepped forward. We're just here to ask a few questions, Chloe, he said with a chilling calmness. Answers only you can provide. Doesn't this sound fun? Chloe's mind whirred. She cleared her throat, adrenaline heightening her senses. I don't know what you want from me, she said, though her voice trembled slightly. I can't help you. The tall man chuckled, the sound low and unsettling. Oh, you can. Just like Carter said, you're standing at the edge of something interesting. We want to know what you've uncovered. Carter interjected smoothly. Let us make this easier. What can't you see? You're chosen, Chloe, a piece in a game far larger than you realize. You may have stumbled upon something monumental. The kind of information that could change everything. Her heart raced as a cold realization washed over her. Information she didn't understand what he was talking about, but the weight in his words pressed heavily on her mind. I don't have any information, she insisted, trying to keep the fear from seeping into her voice. The shorter man shrugged, glancing at Carter as if sharing an unspoken laugh. But you do. You've already stepped into a web, and we're here to help you navigate it. Or we could make it very uncomfortable for you. Stop! Anthony roared, his entire body taut with fury. You think you can intimidate her? You're nothing but pathetic bullies. Chloe felt a surge of warmth from Anthony's words, a flicker of hope amidst the darkness. But that hope dimmed quickly as the two newcomers eyed him, and she could see their amusement turn to irritation. Cute, the tall man said, stone-faced. But you're in over your head, little man. And if you think you can protect her without warning, he lunged forward, shoving Anthony back against the alley wall. The impact knocked the air from Anthony's lungs, but he recovered quickly, defiance flaring in his eyes. Get away from her. Chloe felt the familiar pang of fear claw anew at her insides. With a flick of his wrist, the tall man tossed something small and silver into the air. It glinted and caught the streetlight. It landed mere inches from Chloe's foot, unveiling a knife. A little toy, he taunted. If you want to play, this is how the game begins. Carter's laughter echoed like nails on a chalkboard. You see, Chloe? This is your moment. You can either fight it, or you can embrace it. But either way, he leaned in, just a whisper away, things are about to change forever. Chloe's heart sank. The walls of the alley seemed to close in. Clarity flashed she was caught in a storm, and there was no telling who would make it out alive or what the cost would be. The sirens wailed closer, but their blaring only amplified the tension. Chloe felt the weight of their eyes, the threat surrounding her, prickling at her skin. She needed a way out, not just for her sake, but for Anthony's too. "What do I need to do?" She breathed out, desperation clawing at her throat. As the tension spiraled, a shadow in the distance caught her eye. Was that a familiar figure approaching, or another enemy headed into the fray? "Ah, the plot thickens," Carter grinned. "Looks like you might just get your wish for chaos after all." The figure drew closer, illuminated by the flickering streetlight. Chloe squinted, her heart racing as panic surged within her. Was it a friend, or another threat? She felt a wave of nausea as the shadows warped the shape, creating an aura of uncertainty. "Who the hell is that?" Anthony growled, his eyes darting between the approaching figure and the two men blocking their exit. His protective stance tightened around Chloe, but it was a trickling doubt that began to creep into her veins. What if help turned into another danger? As the figure emerged into the light, Chloe gasped. It was Sarah, their neighbor, the one who always seemed to be lingering just out of sight, her knowing glances twisting the sense of normalcy that Chloe once felt. But tonight, Sarah wasn't the same. There was a grit to her stride, an energy that hinted at something far deeper than mere curiosity. Chloe wondered if she had seen more than she let on. "Chloe! Anthony!" Sarah shouted, her voice cutting through the suffocating air of the alley. She rushed forward, determination burning in her eyes. "Get away from them. They're dangerous." Carter threw back his head and laughed, his amusement rippling through the tense atmosphere. "Oh, this keeps getting better. The plot thickens, indeed." His eyes glinted with malicious delight. Chloe turned to Sarah, her heart pounding with confusion. "Do you know them?" she asked breathlessly, trying to grasp this unexpected lifeline. Sarah's jaw set tight. "I know enough. We need to get out of here now." A jolt of electricity shot through Chloe as Sarah collided with her, pushing her back. It was a small act of defiance but powerful enough to urge Chloe into movement. The tall man's expression shifted to irritation as he realized they were trying to retreat. "Not so fast," he barked, lunging back towards them. Anthony stepped forward, fists balled at his sides. "Don't you touch them." The tension in the air crackled. In that instant, Chloe felt a rush of clarity, the adrenaline pulling her into focus. This was not just about survival anymore. It felt like a choice between facing her fears or running indefinitely. "Sarah, what do you know?" Chloe shouted over the chaos, her heart hammering against her ribs. She could see the towering figure of Pete behind, eyes blazing with contempt. Sarah's hesitation told Chloe everything. This isn't just some coincidence, Chloe. They're connected to everything that's been happening. The disappearances around town, the rumors about you." The words hit Chloe like a bucket of ice-cold water. Disappearances? Rumors? Were they connected to her? Anthony shot Sarah a bewildered look. "Rumors? What are you talking about?" "We need to go," Sarah pleaded, urgency carving deeper lines across her forehead. "If they really know something, we won't make it out if we stay here." A chorus of sirens filled the air, amplifying the panic tightening their throats. The tall man shot a murderous glance toward the street, his confidence cracking. "Seems like the party is about to get interrupted," he said, a smirk still plastered across his face though uncertainty flickered beneath it. Without thinking, Chloe gripped Anthony's arm. "Let us run," she yelled. They dashed back further into the alley while Sarah quickly shadowed them, but seconds later, a blinding light filled the alley. Police cars, lights spinning, zooming to a stop at the mouth of the street. Officers barked orders, and uniforms flooded the scene. For a moment, relief washed over Chloe, hope spilling back into her veins. But then she remembered the knife at her feet. She turned to see the tall man, eyes wild, his grin now a grimace, as he eyed the approaching law enforcement with a hint of desperation. "Carter!" he shouted, "we need to go. Now!" But Chloe and her friends were already moving, their feet pounding the pavement towards safety. Yet, within her, dread bubbled. What had Sarah meant by rumors? What danger loomed as they fled? As they raced away, that singular thought gnawed at Chloe's mind. In the heart of chaos, clarity escaped her grasp, leaving only questions that begged for answers. Did this nightmare have a foundation in truth? And as they turned the corner, the echoes of the alley faded behind them. But she couldn't shake the feeling, the sense that this was only the beginning of something much darker, an unraveling that demanded she understand her role. "Chloe!" Sarah gasped, pulling her to a stop. "We need to talk now." What had she uncovered? Chloe turned to Sarah, fear tightening her chest. "What do you mean, we need to talk? Right now?" Panic flickered in Sarah's eyes as she scanned their surroundings. "Not here," she hissed, urgency pouring off her. "They're still out there, and we're not safe yet." Anthony gripped Chloe's shoulder. "We can't let them catch us. We need to keep moving." "Follow me," Sarah demanded, her voice firm, pulling them down another narrow street. The sirens faded, replaced by the night's uneasy stillness, but the tension had strangled the air between them. They turned sharply down a dark alley, the shadows wrapping around them like a cloak. Every noise, distant footsteps, a soft whisper of the wind struck fear into Chloe's heart. What if those men were still close behind? "Why are you so sure they're dangerous?" Chloe forced the words out, her voice shaking. "What do they want?" "It's not just about them targeting you," Sarah explained, glancing over her shoulder as they walked. "There's a bigger picture. You've stumbled onto something, you felt it, haven't you? They think you know." "I know nothing," Chloe snapped, though the swell of uncertainty in her chest suggested otherwise. "You don't realize it yet, but everything that's been happening, it surrounds you." Sarah's words pierced through Chloe's confusion, intimacy mingling with fear. The disappearances, people knew something. "And you, Chloe, you're like a light they want to snuff out." Chloe felt her heart race again, heavy with the weight of Sarah's revelation. Inside, a part of her screamed for denial. But deep down, another part, the part that had kept her awake at night, recognized the truth. She had been feeling it all along, an inescapable pull pressing her toward something dark. "Then why did you wait? Why didn't you come to us sooner?" Anthony shot back, frustration bubbling over. "I thought I could handle it," Sarah replied, her voice breaking slightly. "But I was wrong. They're watching everything. I was afraid they'd find me first. I thought it was safer to watch from a distance." Chloe felt betrayal coil in her stomach. Did Sarah know? Had she been watching them all along? "You said you knew enough. What else don't we know?" Sarah hesitated, and the flickering shadows distorted her features, making her look almost sinister. "I had my own suspicions, but even I didn't know how deep it went. All I know is that it leads back to those men. They aren't just thugs, they're part of a web that stretches beyond this town." The alley opened into a deserted street lit by a single street lamp. Chloe paused. "We can't just stand out here. Let us find a place to hide." Suddenly, a voice sliced through their urgency. "How cute a little reunion." It was Carter, lurking at the end of the street, flanked by Pete and the tall man, his smile cruel and mocking. Chloe's blood ran cold. "They found us!" Panic twisted her stomach into knots. "We were hoping you'd lead us to you-know-who," Carter teased, stepping forward as if he owned the darkness. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Anthony shoved Chloe behind him, fists clenched, chest heaving with anger. "Get away from her." "Does that really matter?" Carter laughed, a sound devoid of joy. "You think you can protect her? You think any of us are safe? Run!" Sarah shouted, shoving Chloe toward the alley. But as they turned to escape, Chloe's breath hitched. The tall man moved like a shadow, silently blocking their path. Chloe felt the walls closing in, fear and disbelief clawing at her. What lay ahead of them was uncertain, but behind them were shadows that had grown more menacing, tightening their grip. Sarah grasped Chloe's hand, eyes wild with determination. We have to stick together. Now more than ever. But in that moment, Chloe couldn't shake the feeling that whatever lay ahead wasn't just about escape. Choices lingered in the air, their safety, their secrets, and an insatiable truth ready to devour them whole as the distance between them and danger closed. A question echoed, gnawing on the edges of her mind, who was really hunting whom? And just when it seemed hope flickered at its smallest light, a loud crash erupted from behind them, splintering the night and echoing their rising dread. The crash reverberated through the alley, sending a ripple of fear across Chloe's spine. It was as if the night itself had fractured, splintering their breathing into gasps. Chloe's instinct screamed for them to move, but her feet felt like stone. Sarah's grip was fierce around Chloe's wrist. Don't look back, she urged, pulling her to the right, where another shadowed path branched off. That was it. Follow the darkness. Anthony, however, hesitated. What was that? His voice trembled, a mix of curiosity and dread battling for dominance. We can't stay here, Sarah insisted, tugging Chloe again, but his eyes lingered, wide and searching. There was a weight in the air, thick as smoke. Chloe felt it, too. An unseen danger loomed behind them, stalking from the shadows. They darted into the new alley, where walls whispered secrets, and their shoes echoed against the cracked pavement. Panic thrummed beneath Chloe's skin as they fled, raw and electric. Where are we going? Chloe called between ragged breaths, fear clawing at her throat. Do you know where we are? We need to find a hideout, somewhere they can't find us, Sarah said, her voice strained. We can't let them see us. If they do, it'll all be over. Chloe stole a glance back, catching a glimpse of movement. Without thinking, she shouted, They're coming. The tall man stood at the alley's mouth, silhouetted against the pale light, as if he were carved from the darkness itself. Carter and Pete flanked him. Oh, bugger off with the theatrics. Carter's voice carried, smooth yet unsettling. We're just getting started. With fear propelling her forward, Chloe sprinted into the night, searching for anywhere that felt safe. They turned down a twisting series of alleys that felt like a labyrinth, desperation flooding each step. Heart pounding, she peered into shadowed doorways, empty windows, anything that might offer refuge. Sarah glanced at her, the glow of streetlights catching her eyes, wide and fearful. We can't let them get us, Chloe. You have to trust me. I know places. The urgency in her tone added to the panic swirling in the pit of Chloe's stomach. But what if they fell into another trap? Suddenly, a heavy footfall echoed behind them. The men were gaining closer. Chloe could feel their malicious presence drawing nearer. Is there any place? Anthony began, his face pinched with worry, but was cut short when Sarah abruptly stopped. She pointed to a dull metal door half hidden behind a dumpster. That! Quick! Sarah didn't wait for a response but charged for it. Chloe followed, adrenaline propelling her forward like a force of nature. They rushed through the door just as a shout rang out behind them, drowned out by the sound of the door slamming shut. Inside, the room felt suffocating, its narrowness pressing down on them. Dim light emerged from a cracked bulb hanging low on the ceiling, flickering suspiciously. Chloe could barely catch her breath. What is this place? She whispered, glancing around the cramped, exposed brick walls. A storage area for old supplies. No one comes down here, Sarah replied, breathless but resolute, scanning for any windows or alternate exits. So, what now? Anthony's voice was barely above a whisper, his fear palpable. We wait, Sarah said, but her eyes darted nervously, betraying her own assurance. Wait until we know they've gone. Chloe stared at them both, feeling the weight of Sarah's knowledge pressing against her. You need to tell us everything, she demanded. Why this matters so much? What is it that we stumbled upon? But before Sarah could answer, a distant voice sliced through the air, warped and distorted. A voice they all recognized. Nice try, but you shouldn't have run. We'll always find you. Chloe felt her heart drop. The realization hit like ice water thrown over her head. They weren't just being pursued. Their lives were now entangled in something much darker than they'd ever imagined. A game they hadn't chosen to play. The door rattled under the weight of something large pounding from the other side. But then, in the dim light, a sudden shock shattered the tension. A flash of movement, a glint of metal caught Chloe's eye. What hidden truths lay behind that door, and who, if anyone, could help them now? Chloe's heart raced as the heavy pounding intensified, reverberating through the cramped room like a relentless drum. "We need to hold the door," she shouted, her voice barely cutting through the chorus of fear swirling among them. Anthony braced his back against the shaky door, arms straining against the forceful pushes from the other side. "Help me," he grunted, the color draining from his face as he struggled to keep the impending threat at bay. Sarah rushed to his side, her fingers white-knuckled against the doorframe, adrenaline pumping as she attempted to block the gaps. "Come on, we can't let them in." Chloe joined them, her pulse echoing in her ears, fighting sheer panic. The sinister laughter of Carter cut through her momentary focus, taunting them from the other side. "Oh, come on. You can't hide forever. This is just the beginning of the fun." The word sent a chill down Chloe's spine, and she exchanged a quick glance with Anthony. "What do we do?" "It's only a matter of time," she breathed, fear clawing at her throat. Sarah took a deep breath, her eyes flashing with determination. "We look for a way out, and fast." "Like what?" Anthony's voice was a mix of frustration and uncertainty, and Chloe could see the desperation mounting in his eyes. Ignoring him, Chloe darted to the dim windows lining the far wall. "There's got to be something," she implored, fingers tracing the cool glass. Outside, all she saw was darkness folding over the city streets. Suddenly, a deep crack sounded through the air, and Chloe's gut clenched. The door trembled ominously, a warning sign they couldn't ignore. "There!" she shouted, pointing to a narrow space behind some old crates in the corner. "We can squeeze through." "We can't just leave," Anthony started, but Chloe cut him off. "No choice. We can't wait. They'll come in any second." She began to push the crates aside, her hand shaking with urgency as the door rattled again. Sarah gritted her teeth and joined in, pulling and pushing the obstacles, sweat pooling down her back. Anthony begrudgingly followed suit, the panic in Chloe's chest inviting a sharp, clear focus. As they piled the crates high, Chloe dared a glance back at the door, the lock splintering under repeated blows. What would they do if the door broke? Each second that ticked felt like the hours slipping away. "Together? Move!" Chloe urged, pulling aside a final crate to reveal a sliver of space leading to a dusty escape. The force of the door crashed violently once more, and with a loud screech, a crack split open. Chloe's heart dropped. Now! They dove into the hidden space, squeezing through the tight gap, a surge of hope battling against their impending doom. The instant they tumbled out the other side, the world shifted. They landed in an alley, a dirt-stained path lit only by flickering bulbs high above. The night air was thick and heavy but filled her lungs like a sweet relief. "Which way?" Sarah gasped, glancing widely around, heart still racing. "Left!" Anthony shouted, yanking Chloe forward. They dashed toward an opening at the far end of the alley. They needed to move fast. The noise behind them was escalating, their pursuers growing frantic. As they burst into the street, Chloe's senses heightened. In that moment, the night flashed before her eyes, danger lurking at every corner, shadows clawed at the edges of her consciousness, but so did the truth. "I have to know what's going on," she gasped, pulling Sarah to a halt in an empty square. "Not now," Sarah insisted urgently, looking back down the alley. "If Carter and those idiots find us, we're done." "No. I can't run without knowing." The need to uncover the mystery, to grasp the truth that filled her thoughts like a tidal wave, urged her on. "What did you mean by everything revolves around me?" Sarah hesitated, the urgency of the moment conflicting with her desire to reveal the truth. "They believe you witnessed something. Something connected to the disappearances and me," she admitted, looking down as if ashamed. Chloe's breath caught. You? How? I just wanted to protect you. I was waiting to tell you. When it was safe. Safe? Chloe spat, reality hitting home. There's nothing safe about this. Footsteps echoed behind them, and they turned sharply to see figures emerging from the gloom. Chloe's heart pounded. Had they tracked them down already? Your little game of hide-and-seek is over. Carter's voice rang out, a sickening delight curling his lips. Before Chloe could react, Sarah dove for a nearby shadowy alley, pulling Chloe along. Run! We'll figure this out later. With barely a second to hesitate, they left Anthony behind, who turned to face the threat, fists raised. Don't touch her! He yelled with fierce determination. Anthony, no! Chloe screamed but was dragged deeper into the alley by Sarah's relentless pull. We can't help him, not like this. Sarah urged, though Chloe felt a painful tug at her heart. They pushed off deeper into the unknown, a maze of streets and alleys leading away from the chaos. Thoughts raced through her mind of danger, of shadows lurking everywhere, of Anthony holding his ground. Where are we going? Chloe asked, breathless and shaken. Somewhere we can regroup and figure out our next move. If they really believe you know something, we need to plan our escape. But even while escaping, the sense that their troubles weren't over loomed ominously in the air. Can we trust you? Chloe asked softly, feeling a pang of disappointment and insecurity. Trust me to protect you, Sarah replied, sincerity hardening her voice. We've been watched for too long. Now it's our turn to fight back. As they turned a corner, that energy crackling around them shifted again, a roar of sirens echoing through the deserted streets, a hopeful sign of help or a prelude to danger. Would they get lost in the battle looming overhead? Chloe felt a rush of determination as they dashed into the night, stepping into uncertainty, but this time with a glimmer of hope. Maybe they could reclaim their lives. Maybe they could uncover the truth. But with every step, the burning question swirled: what lay ahead, and who was at the heart of it all? As the shadows trailing behind whispered the weight of their fears, Chloe couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. With resolve building in her chest, she turned to Sarah. Let us find Anthony. This isn't just about us anymore. Their eyes locked with an unyielding promise. It was time to face whatever lay ahead, together, determined to tear down the secrets choking their lives before it was too late. Now, more than ever, they needed each other and the truth. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss any of the exclusive stories coming soon. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes all the difference.